doubt, Lagos metropolis is so far the largest and most complex urban area in Nigeria, and economically, it is important. With over 17 million inhabitants, Lagos is one of the largest cities of the world, and this population grows daily at a rate of nearly 6% yearly. The state boasts of the largest manufacturing companies, which provide employment for over 45% of the skilled manpower of the country. Lagos has every potential to be the third largest megacity in the world after Shanghai and Mumbai. By projection and according to the United Nations research, by 2015, the population will be over 20 million, therefore making the state the third largest city in the world. For a state like this with such a huge population, it is only expected that movement of people remains a very important aspect for the growth of the economy. Hence, transportation is the pivot around which the wheel of every modern economy revolves. The efficiency with which people, goods and services can move from one point to the other largely determines the quality of life of the society. Transportation infrastructure is very important because of its role in the overall development of the state. In Lagos State, over 90% of movement is done by road, and cities of this size can survive on one mode of transportation. Today, many megacities of the world depend on more than one mode of transportation, and Lagos should not be an exception. Hence, addressing the transportation and traffic challenges of a complex megacity like Lagos has been a major priority of the present administration of Lagos. Transportation of passengers and goods can take place through three modes, namely by water, by air, and by land. But looking at the complex situation of a megacity like Lagos, the need to exploit alternative means of transportation mode cannot be overemphasized, considering the complex nature of the sector in the state. One of such alternatives being exploited by the government is water transportation.
Water transport in a city like Lagos is a necessity. Two-thirds of the area of Lagos is covered by various lagoons, and with a population of 20 million and growing, Lagos definitely is in dire need of an alternative to road transportation. And with all this water surrounding us, it's only practical for us to take advantage of the waterways that we have.
Undoubtedly, traffic congestion exists in every major metropolitan area in the world. Peak hour traffic congestion in almost all large and growing metropolitan regions around the world will remain so for some time. Lagos is not an exception, as it is not only known as a center of commerce and investment, also for severe traffic congestion. This is so because over 6 million passengers hustle daily between Lagos mainland and the island. Motorized transportation accounts for more than 90% of passengers and freight traffic. The poor condition of the road network and that of the public transport system has over time affected severely the development of the city and the working conditions of the population, particularly the poorer part of it. Demand has always superseded supply because vehicular volume of passengers and human population in Lagos has continued to increase daily, hence the need to complement travel demand on roads to water as a congestion reduction strategy. Lagos environs are surrounded by several inland waterways, creating a good opportunity for ferry shuttles between the Lagos Island and the mainland, as well as within the riverine areas. Hence, water transportation is a realistic and potentially effective option, given that Lagos is blessed with abundant water bodies that could be harnessed to offer fast, safe, comfortable, and cheaper water transport services.
The state itself is covered by two-thirds of it is water, and waterways itself goes into all parts of the state, from Badagry to Ekpe to K2 to Mile 2, all the way to Isolo area. There's water there, all the way to Mile 12, and all the way down, all the way into Lekki, Ajax. So The water itself, being a natural resource, flows through the entire city of the metropolis. Now, in terms of the water transportation, currently we're doing almost 2 million people a month that move by water monthly, on a daily basis, a month moving to work, some people carrying their goods from Elegbata Jetty, Nebuteru, all the way to Ikorodu. So yes, water transportation is a viable thing. But even if you go into the history of the city itself, before we ever had bridges, the only way to move across the island of Lagos to the mainland and from Badagry across too is by water transportation. So water transportation in the earliest form was the earliest transportation system within the city.
But it's not new to Lagos. The administration of Alhaji Lateef Jakonde were the pioneers of water transportation in the state. The first Lagos State built jetty at Mile 2 was constructed during the administration of Alhaji Jakonde. And some of the ferries that we are currently refurbishing now were acquired by the states during that time. But being aluminium ferries over the years of not even being used, they're still in a good enough condition for us to refurbish them. But those ferries ran for years, and a lot of Lagosians till today remember some of the ferries that used to run in the 80s and early 90s. And people still ask us from time to time that, oh, is it those ferries we're bringing back, the Baba Kekeres of this world? And we're always happy to let them know that yes, some of those ferries are still very much around, and we'll soon see them back on the waterways of Lagos.
The Babatunde Fashola administration has therefore made it its policy to develop very rapidly commuter water transportation routes in the state to arrest the decline in the quality of life in Lagos and sustain economic development in the state and ultimately across the country.
Definitely, water transport in a city like Lagos is a necessity. 2/3 of the area of Lagos is covered by the various lagoons, and with a population of 20 million and growing, Lagos definitely is in dire need of an alternative to road transportation. And with all this water surrounding us, it's only practical for us to take advantage of the waterways that we have.
As water transportation is an integral component of the development of Lagos State's intermodal transport system, the physical environment of the state is well suited to accommodate water transport, as about 17% of Lagos is composed of lagoons and waterways. The main bodies in Lagos State are the Lagos Lagoon, the Ologe Lagoon, Port Novo Creek, and the Atlantic Ocean. Again, water transport is one of the most advantageous transport modes, having the least impact on the environment, the lowest cost for city transport, and an enormous capacity reserve, and the least energy consumption. Research reveals that the environmental, health, safety, and security advantages of adopting water transportation facilities in Lagos are many. Also, the population of the Lagos metropolitan area continues to rise as people of all walks of life migrate to Lagos and is constantly in need of cost-effective modes of urban transport. In order to continue to improve on water transport services and to equally sustain and attract Lagosians to water transportation, the Lagos State government has embarked on the construction of jetties at Ikorodu, Osborn, and Badore.
Ultimately, just like everything else, when you're moving towards world class, you add certain little things to your facilities. And then you add those things for more safety, for a better, experience of going through the waterways. So the main terminals now within our waterways have what we call a fuel dump. So we're having for the first time the opportunity for boats to fuel their boats right by the waterways. We're trying to cut out all going towards filling stations, taking a taxi and all that. We're trying to cut that out. So right from the waterways, boats will have the opportunity to fuel themselves. We have transition zones at those terminals where you can do other things within the terminals while you wait for your boat, or when you come out for your boat. So we're expecting to have eateries, the opportunity for ATM, you can do your banking, you can have eateries, and some other social facilities within those zones, because we've realized now that most of our terminals have become a social center for the communities in which they are placed. So since they are now a social center for the community, other things have been put in place now for you to have that experience of being near the water. So there will be car park facility, there will be shopping facility, there will be banking facility, there will be eateries within those. Those are what we call transition zones between the water transport and the road transport.
How does the government plan to maintain this so we don't go back to that where we're coming from?
But that's the whole idea of why you have that the terminals are being concessioned to facilities management groups. And that's also the reason why we have private operators running the ferry boats, because they will service their boats. All we do is to make sure the boats are seaworthy and the boats are the standard that we expect the boats to be, while the facility management group will keep those terminals the way government wants it to be, or they might lose their concession. So you can imagine that since they are private firms who are in charge of keeping those facilities, those are the ways we ensure that our services stay world class, that our services remain standard, and we don't fall between services. So if a concessionaire is not doing what we expect him to do, I guess by the next term of agreement, we'll be looking at other concessionaires who can perform better.
This is in addition to dredging different ferry routes. These include Ikorodu to Badore via Oreta, Bayeku to Ijede, Ikorodu to Osborn, Badore to Lekki, Okeafa to Mile 2, and Tolu Ajegunle to the Port Novo Creeks and Liverpool. Meanwhile, repairs are being carried out on Ekpeme and Iyafin. The state has also completed dredging of the Ojo waterways down to the Lagos Island and has initiated life buoys and navigational signs for boat operators.
I think the first thing we do is that we insist you must wear a life jacket to travel. A life jacket would save your life. It's a floatable device that when you wear it securely and fasten it across your body, you don't even know, you don't have to know how to swim. It will keep you up. So the first point of call is you must wear your life jacket. Now the state itself dredges the water to get it navigable for those boats to go through. After the dredging has been done, now we're putting in navigational buoys to mark the channels so the boaters know where to pass along the lagoon where the water has sufficient depth for their boats to go across, because we have shallow waters. If you go in some parts, your boat might hit the deck because we have shallow waters. So the state has put a lot of energy into the infrastructure of the waterways in terms of dredging the waterways to make it navigable, building jetties and terminals in strategic areas of the state for the movement of people across either side of the state, which road transport can cut across easily.
In Lagos State, they've tried a whole lot. They've added a lot of encouragement as well. Like they introduced there's the newer, there's the LASWA personnel. They carry out duties like ensuring they go around the jetties, making sure nobody is standing on top any jetty without putting on a life jacket, ensuring the boats that anybody is on is safe to convey passengers, ensuring the captains are in good condition, there's no issue, the boat is not leaking, there is life buoy, there's paddle, there's navigation lights in case it gets dark and they are still on the waterway. So I think Lagos State are trying, but I feel the government should still add more support to improve the safety on waterways. Like, for instance, on the route from Badore to Ijene now, if it's not that we are used to the system to know the paths, there are lots of shallow areas here. So if they can implement the fact they put navigational lights on the water so that anybody, even a layman, even like an individual, if you have your own boat and you feel you want to drive across, you can know the route to go through. If you don't, you could get stuck in the middle of water, or there are some rubbish in the water which your boat can get stuck in.
Furthermore, under the Lagos Ferry Services Company, LAG Ferry, the state government acquired 2 54-seat ferries and equally refurbished 5 others. These are aluminium ferries that belong to the old ferry services, all in order to boost water transportation. Efforts have been made by LAG Ferry to train and retrain their staff in order to enhance service delivery and safety on the waterways.
Our operations crew, aside from the administrative side, our captains, our deckhands, our engineers are hired based on the qualification that they've already achieved. So they are certified marine crew, and we have a very structured plan for continuous capacity building within our organization. And the idea is to ensure that our staff are always up to date with the industry standards, international industry standards as much as we can. And I think working within the context of our country and working with LASWA, we are definitely constantly improving the quality of staff that we have.
Still on safety on the waterways, the BRF administration in May of 2014 flagged off the state's water transport safety awareness program with the distribution of 2,000 life jackets to operators in the water transport sector in Ebute Ojo. Even though in some areas, the operators are expected to buy the life jackets themselves, but in order to encourage citizens to adopt this mode of transport, while at the same time bringing mishaps to the barest minimum, the Lagos State government took it upon itself to do this.
A compulsory life vest use on our waterways. Ordinarily, this should have been the responsibility of our boat operators to procure and to provide this as part of their service. But because we understand that many of them are small businesses struggling for survival, government has again taken the lead to provide this life vest free, and we will do so gradually across all the water transport points of Lagos. I'd like to appeal to all passengers, whether on locally made canoes, outboard motorboats, or the more sophisticated ferries that now ply our waterways, to insist that the boat operator must provide them with a life vest, because we are going to issue those life vests. And all operators must also insist that every passenger on their boat must wear that life vest or disembark the passenger. This is all about safety. We continue to do our best to make the waterways safe. There's a lot of work that lies ahead, continuous dredging, continuous signing by life buoys. We also expect that passengers and commuters on the waterways will also take some interest in their own safety by using this life vest. So while you have the seat belt in your car on the road, the life vest is your seat belt on water. Make sure you use it. Put it on and click it on. It's a simple habit that may save your life. Don't wait to be a victim, or don't wait to be somebody close to a victim before you take a step in order to save your life.
On all Lagos State jetties, we have what we call the water guards, whose responsibility is to superintend our jetties. Those are the people, you see them in their blue and black uniform, who ensure that you must wear your life jacket before boarding a boat, and then you take it off after you've alighted the boat and you're on the jetty. So that way we try and minimize all points of injury or accident. You make sure it's on before they get in, and you make sure they take it off when they get to the jetty, because sometimes in people's rush of trying to leave the boat rocks. So we are actually told to take it off after you've come off the boat and you're on the jetty. So those are the points that we do. Now, apart from that, we have boats that supervise the waterways from sun up to sundown. We have patrol boats. So we stop people for overspeeding, we stop people midstream to make sure they put back their life jackets. We confiscate faulty life jackets that we don't think will do what they're supposed to do. So all those measures have been put in place to enable us to have safe waterways.
Recently, Lagos State government gave some life jackets to the boat operators, the zones, which they are still coming to this area according to what the person in charge, the Ministry of Transport said. They've just gone to give some life jackets to people at Ojo area and all those places, and they give them a lot of life jacket there to support the boat operators. And also, they have a boat that goes around the waterways in case there's accident or something to be able to help the people. Although I think we'll need more.
Today, from just one operational route in 2007, Lagos today is running water transport on 12 routes. Ikorodu to Marina and CMS, Marina to Mile 2, Ikorodu to Adax and Falomo Ebutero, Marina to Ijegun-Egba and Ebute Ojo, Mile 2 to Marina CMS and Mekwem to Falomo, Badore to Ijede, and Badore to 5 Cowries, amongst other routes.
Since inception, since the Central Business District was in Marina, it is made, I call it a one-dimensional traffic system. Most times in the morning we are coming to the island, and most traffic in the evening is going to the mainland. So in there lies the population of traffic. But currently, coming to the island area, we have transportation out of Ojo area, we have transportation out of Ikorodu area, we have transportation between Ikorodu and Ajah, between Ikorodu and Badore, between Badore and the island. So there are people who are using, and then from Oronshoke as well, to the island. So there are people who have already started using those alternative means of cutting across the city by water. Then ultimately, because it is quicker, from Ikorodu to this end will be about 25 minutes. Same thing from Ojo to this end. When I say Ojo, we're talking about the area of Alaba Market to this end is about 25 minutes. From Mile 12, from Mile 2 will take about 20 minutes to cut across. From Apapa to the island is about 10-15 minutes. So the journey times through the water is quite quick. And then you think about environmentally, waterways is much more environmentally friendlier because you have no fumes from car exhaust and all that. So ultimately it's even healthier for you.
The state is doing everything that we can to ensure safety on the waterways. So it's a very good collaboration between the Lagos State Waterways Authority and the Marine Police in terms of patrolling our waterways and ensuring that all operators adhere to the safety regulations that the state is enforcing. Unfortunately, we've had a few incidents of either operators who have erred in keeping to those safety standards and some of them have had very serious consequences, as we've seen. But I think I'd want to tell people to be rest assured that the state is continuously working as it should to ensure the safety of everyone on the waterways. Then, in terms of other challenges that we do face, like I said earlier, the demand for our services is quite high, and the number of operational ferries that the state is running now could be increased. We have 2 functional ferries right now that are running routes from Ikorodu to Elegbata in Lagos Island. But we're looking to expand our services very soon, following the acquisition of some newly refurbished ferries that have belonged to the state government. We bought several administrations ago, but we are currently refurbishing those ferries at our Mile 2 jetty. And when those ferries become operational, we intend to expand our services to places like Ebute Ojo and Badore, as I mentioned. So the demand is very high, and we are aware of this. And the challenge really is finding enough boats to move people around. Even despite the fact that there are other private operators who are applying those routes, those key routes, and the state still has its own role to play in filling those gaps. And the feedback we do get from our customers, sometimes we're about to leave maybe the last trip for the day from Elegbata, and we still have people that are waiting there that are asking us, are you bringing another boat? Because the demand is there. So that really is a challenge for us, and we're looking towards changing that by expanding the number of ferries that we're operating and expanding our services to different communities around Lagos.
Water transport in the state now moves between 1.5 million to 1.6 million passengers monthly, compared to 200,000 that used the mode 7 years ago. This change has also created additional new jobs, with economic multiplier effects on families and the society at large. No doubt, Lagos metropolis is so far the largest and most complex urban area in Nigeria, and economically, it is important. With over 17 million inhabitants, Lagos is one of the largest cities of the world, and this population grows daily at a rate of nearly 6% yearly. Lagos has every potential to be the third largest megacity in the world after Shanghai and Mumbai. Transportation infrastructure is very important because of its role in the overall development of the state. In Lagos State, over 90% of movement is done by road, and cities of this size can survive on one mode of transportation. Addressing the transportation and traffic challenges of a complex megacity like Lagos has been a major priority of the present administration of Lagos. One of such alternatives being exploited by the government is water transportation. Undoubtedly, traffic congestion exists in every major metropolitan area in the world. Peak hour traffic congestion in almost all large and growing metropolitan regions around the world will remain so for some time. Lagos is not an exception, as it is not only known as a center of commerce and investment, also for severe traffic congestion. This is so because over 6 million passengers hustle daily between Lagos mainland and the island. Motorized transportation accounts for more than 90% of passengers and freight traffic. The poor condition of the road network and that of the public transport system has over time affected severely the development of the city and the working conditions of the population, particularly the poorer part of it. Demand has always superseded supply because vehicular volume of passengers and human population in Lagos has continued to increase daily, hence the need to complement travel demand on roads to water as a congestion reduction strategy. Lagos environs are surrounded by several inland waterways, creating a good opportunity for ferry shuttles between the Lagos Island and the mainland, as well as within the riverine areas. Hence, water transportation is a realistic and potentially effective option, given that Lagos is blessed with abundant water bodies that could be harnessed to offer fast, safe, comfortable, and cheaper water transport services.
But today, our water transportation capacity is increasing from about 200,000 passengers per month 7 years ago. We are now ferrying over 1.6 million passengers every month on the Lagos waterways. Very soon, we will complete the concessioning of the other ferry terminals within the state, and we expect to see further increased passenger throughput on the Lagos waterways.
10 years behind now, it has been the user, it's more of the expatriates, the white people that use boat services around Lagos State mostly before. So for now, we've encouraged a whole lot of Nigerians themselves to get familiar to the usage of waterways as transportation means as well.
Okay, let's look at the response. How is the response now?
Yes. Okay, as at 5 years back, or 6 or 7 years back when we started operations here, we barely had 10 people to convey. But now in a day we get up to more than 500 people from both sides, from Ijede to Badore, back and forth. More than 500 people. So I think the turnout has been very progressive.
To say that the metro ferry has brought a significant change to a lot of lives will only be stating the obvious. An example are the residents of Ikorodu. Instead of many of them leaving home for the island by 4:30 to 5 a.m., they now leave by 7 a.m. to arrive CMS latest 8 a.m. Car owners leave their cars in the car park of Metro Ferry to board a ferry to CMS, thereby escaping the time lag, the heavy traffic, discomfort amongst other things that are usually associated with traveling on the roads. Certainly, when compared to the hustle and bustle of going to CMS by road, it is indeed a better alternative.
Because I've been on the waterways for a little while, and I noticed that there are more Nigerians or black people coming into the waterways these days. There's something called necessity is mother of invention, and sometimes demanding as well. Once I saw it, demand that I need to move from one end to another, and it takes me 3 hours to get there, and there's a means that will give me 20 minutes. I'm sure you opt on for that of 20 minutes. But Nigerians are very scared of water. A lot of them are scared of water before. But as time goes on, the roads get congested, there's so much traffic, and people start coming into the waterways. So there's a lot of differences but now than before. The state government as well, for instance, where we are standing now is built by the Lagos state government, here, this jetty. Although you can see another attachment to the jetties, because the jetty they built, the water is so shallow, the boat cannot come there. So we have to do dredging and also build more jetties to complement what the state government has. Everybody is now talking about water transport because everybody knows that it's much, much easier and faster.
I'm living at Ikorodu because the traffic is too much in the main road, but I prefer ferry. Yes, and the stress is too much. We can sit more than 4 or 5 hours on the main road. I will get home early and I take ferry. So that's the main reason I love it, of entering it.
How long have you been taking ferry generally?
Generally, say 4 years plus now. I live at the Ibeshe side of Ikorodu.
Why Why do you opt for this mode of transportation?
It's safe. We get home easy, very easy. It's devoid of bottlenecks from the road. So that is why I choose this medium of traveling back home. It saves lives. And it prevents accidents from occurring. I want to use this forum to implore them to use traffic waterways back to their respective homes. It's safe. It's convenient. It saves time. It's accident-free. In as much as you are giving original life jackets like the one I'm putting on now, I so much welcome it. And we want to use this forum as well to implore the Lagos State government to provide more, because this is not enough.
I stay at Ikorodu Igbogbo. I work at Lagos Island here.
Okay. How long have you been taking this ferry?
Since the day they started applying for this lag ferry, since that time I've started entering it.
Okay.
It's okay, and those people that are controlling us in the ferry, they are also okay. Everything we even sit down comfortably, and everything is okay. This one is very comfortable. This lag ferry is very comfortable. So when we always spend more than almost just 40 minutes or 45 minutes at times, and it's even okay. So safety, everything is there.
What of the way the driver drives?
No, they are okay. Both the driver and they also are attending to us and in the ferry, they are also okay. The way they used to attend to us, in the manner way, they used to attend to us in a manner way.
I don't use like maybe 15 years, like now. 15 years. I don't use 15 years for this operator now.
When you started and now, can you compare? Can you tell me the difference?
The difference that when I see that when I started this work, because I started this work for worry, but when I come this Lagos, don't link like 3 years ago. Now when I come Lagos, I start the work. I still do the job for the Ikorodu to Manjido to Ibitero. But the only thing that I'm seeing that when I started this work before, passenger looked at me because the people that think that the water is they fasted to go and cross the mountain. That's everybody that follow the boats. That's the only thing that I experience. But the only thing that we expect me to do now that make government help us with any boats as strong that not that this our own, because can be see for many people. That is the only thing I can think.
Because of accidents, what do you do as an operator to make sure say accidents no dey, to make sure say people they use life jackets? How do you do your own part?
My own part that they secure my boat because of everybody could be in jacket before you enter my boat. I will look around. If I not see anybody who not wear any jacket and I cannot move, I position myself very well. Maybe boat but they one side or not they okay. I'm not sure say the boat they okay before I left. I was front, was back, was everywhere. I made sure I they okay before I left jet. That's it.
So what do you want to tell people whenever to enter boats? When they see they go, the wrong way to do they see they take bus, sit down inside traffic.
But only thing I'm going to tell the person whenever I enter the first vehicle before that I haven't please them made them adjust us and follow us to enter the boat because the boat they fasted more than a month too.
I live at Ikorodu. I work on the island, Ereko Street. Because of it's faster, ferry is faster, the traffic is not exactly nice, and ferry is faster though.
And then what's your opinion on the use of life jackets?
For safety, I think it's a good idea. So in case mistakes can happen, so at least most people will be safe, and if in case anything happens, so we believe the house early. We don't get to the island early because of the traffic. But if we go by ferry, at least this lag ferry now, it takes at least 45 minutes. So we have enough time to rest before we leave the house. If we go by road, we have to leave the house 4 a.m. and we get to the island 7, 8. But if we go with ferry, we leave the house 6. We leave 6 and we get here at least 7. That's convenient. And we can rest well, take our time. You have your bath well, you rest. At times you even eat breakfast at home. We are fortunate. We need more ferries because Lagos is a very populated city. So we need more ferries, and we need, well, most of the captains here, unlike before, they were nonchalant, but now they are becoming more considerate about people's safety, and we need more of this lag ferry, to be precise. Lag ferry, it's convenient and all. They just need to create more for people.
Furthermore, it has brought down the blood pressure of many hypertensive patients as they no longer have to rush for buses, lose valuables to pickpockets, get stuck in road traffic for hours. It has also made it easier for passengers and members of their families to manage their time well, while at the same time, there are environmental benefits through reduced noise and air pollution of road transportation and the attendant health benefits through reduced respiratory diseases.
To me, I feel water transportation is the safest means of transportation for me. Okay, one, it gives you, it is stress. First of all, like you're on the road, you are going, okay, let's assume I live in Badore and I work in Ijede. I could imagine how many hours I have to use on the road, like 6 to 7, almost, from VI to Ijede. But it's easy stress. It reduces the consumption of fuel. If you are driving a car to Ikorodu, you could imagine how many quantity of fuel you're going to use. And also, you enjoy the ride because you get fresh air, you won't be sweating. And I think it's very encouraging. It should be encouraging. Yes, for the commuters to get familiar, or people that are yet to it is very safe. As long as you have your life jacket, you listen to the instructions the captain or the deckhand pass through before you move. If they say, okay, the boat is not like a car, which stays still. A boat, it works with the velocity of the volume of the water. If you go on one side, the boat will tilt to that side. But if you sit properly in the middle as the captain instructs, there's no problem.
With the introduction of boats as a means of transportation on a commercial basis, Lagos will be healthy and conducive and beneficial to all. Investing in passenger boats is now very ideal and timely. No doubt, the traffic is there and the expected return on investment is high.
Water transportation is safe, but like every form of transportation, whether road, whether rail, whether in the air, accidents happen, human errors occur. The ability of our responders, and we already have a water guard corps who are like our last man on the waterways, ensuring safety, the ability to get to you when accidents happen, when boats lose control, depends on the first step that you take to keep yourself safe and alive. And that first step will be these life vests, because they have been trained to respond to emergencies. And while we intend and expect that all the operators will comply with our regulations and keep emergencies to the barest minimum.
It's easier, it's faster, it's less stressful. Because the riders are kind of careful, and there's a lot of life jacket and good procedures around here. No overload, no speed, and the timing is cool.
Okay. So you can say that relatively our waterways are safe?
Yeah, safe. Badore to Ikorodu anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been using this mode of transportation?
Close to a year.
Okay.
Close to a year.
Okay. And can you compare, even health-wise, your experience on the road?
Yeah, I'm allergic to heat and the stress, the pressure, the tightness of the bus and everything, the drivers and everything. But yeah, I just sit comfortable, and in less than 10 minutes, I'm where I want to be. Do you understand? So when the water is high and the waves are not good, the drivers know what to do. So I think I can prefer it to road.
Where do you work and where do you stay? Where do you live?
I work at 81D Finance Bonny Camp, and I live at Igbalu. That's off Agura, Berry Road. That's where I live.
You are trying. So why do you choose this mode of transportation?
Though it's faster, convenient, and it's just relaxing. It makes you relax than taking the road transport. Why there's hold up here and there before you get to work, you'll be tired, the time and everything. But with this, it's faster.
How long have you been using this mode of transportation?
At least for 2 years now. Then I'm always tired and break down. I visit the hospital almost every week. But with this year and last year, only before I go to the hospital.
Yeah, it's against the traffic because I work at Lucky Chevron. So you have to go through the road. It takes me longer time. But here, it takes me nothing less than 30 minutes to get to the office. But you have to go through the town. It takes me up to maybe 3-4 hours. So it's better for me to take the boat than going by the road.
Okay, looking at the safety, is it safe enough?
Yeah, so far so good. And I think Tarzan, for the safety aspect of it, I think they are trying.
Okay, so how long have you been flying this water, using this water stand?
I can say for the past 4 years now.
What exactly do you do here?
Boat, I drive Tarzan boat.
Okay, how long have you been driving a boat?
About 15 years ago.
Can you compare when you started and now? Maybe there has been improvements on our waterways or...
There's improvement now than before. Because we've changed the boat. Formerly we were using one engine, but now we are using double engine in an each boat to carry 20 passengers. Formerly it was 4 or 5 passengers we carry, small boat. But now everything has improved.
Okay. Then for somebody that has been in it for 15 years, are passengers responding? Do you have more commuters now like before?
Yes, we do. People are coming more than before.
Okay, why do you think this is so?
Because before formerly it was small boat, but now they say that we are using bigger boats, so people rush in.
Okay, do you think people are using the boats because it's bigger or because it's convenient? Why do you think people?
Because it's convenience for them, and it's a shorter way than to go and use 4 hours in crossing the road by the roads. So it's shorter way. In 10 minutes or 15 minutes you cross, go to where you want to go. That's why I think people are using it.
Where do you live and where do you work?
I study Krodu. I work in Lekki here.
Okay. Why do you choose this mode of transportation?
Well, for me, it's faster. It's pretty safer. I would say it's more convenient for me.
How long have you been living in Krodu, working in Lekki? How long have you been taking the boats?
Pursuing 2 years now.
And what's the experience like?
It's wonderful. Though at times it's kind of funny when the waves are kind of on the high side.
Look at safety on our waterways. Do you think the government is actually doing enough to make our waterways safe so that people can actually make use of this?
Well, I believe they should do more because from what I've been seeing, these stuff are being run by individuals. So if the government should put much work as what they have done to the BRT, this now gets to be much more, and people will tend to patronize the waterways. It's quite safer, it's quite faster as compared to the roads we have now.
Okay, so for others that are yet to, because there are still people like you that work in the Ikoyi,
yeah,
and live in the Ikoyi, work on the island, and they still go by road. What will you tell them?
Well, as many I've come across, I tell them that this one is still better. This one is still much faster, much safer, much convenient for you. So you don't have to wake up as early as 4, 5 every morning again. Now I can even wake up as late as 6, leave the house by 7, and meet my site by 9. So I do make use of my safety jacket.
Lagos remains a pace setter and a model for others to follow. With the ongoing redevelopment of the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, incorporating the BRT, the light rail, and other modern road infrastructure, the introduction of privately operated modern taxi services, in addition to the now famous BRT alternatives, put alongside ongoing efforts to promote water transportation, the Lagos State government is indeed working hard to transform public transportation while making the state livable for the citizens.
The state has a strategic master plan for transportation. We have what we call the intermodal traffic system, where you as a citizen of the metropolis can go through 2 different types of modes of transport to get to your destination. So how you get there now is left to you. You can leave mile 2 and take the boat into Marina, and then from the boat you can jump on the BRT bus if it's wherever is closest to you. So the opportunity to move through different modes of transportation is what the state is looking like. Just like you have in most major cities of the world where you have the train system, you go by the boat, you can come by the rail system. That's ultimately where we will get. In some areas you have all 3 modes of transport will actually meet. In some areas 2 modes of transport will meet. Now in all the areas where we have our jetties, it's closely linked to bus places. So we have a way of transiting from water transport to land transport. In other places you transit from water, rail, road. So there is a strategic master plan, yes, and the waterways is imbibed and enshrined in that strategic water master plan.